Everyone always wants an aesthetically pleasing Instagram feed. They want something that looks like the influencers, they want something that's cohesive and has a good color scheme, but then when it comes time to create the content, they get stuck. And they'll post a photo or a graphic that just doesn't fit, it throws off the entire feed, and then they're archiving it before they even get any traction. I want to stop you from doing that. I want you to feel confident in your posting. I want you to go into it with a strategy so that you know that every piece of content you create is actually going to match the style that you are going for in your feed. You deserve that. You deserve to feel good about the content that you are creating. My name is Kirsten and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I talk about all things branding, social media, and email marketing for small business owners. If that sounds like your jam, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I put out new videos every single Tuesday. You can hit that bell so that you never miss a video. If you are not new here, I want to take a moment to say thank you for coming back and checking out another video. It means the world to me. This week's video is based off of Brittany's question off of last week's video, which was, how do you choose your color palette? Do you have different ones for different accounts? Thank you, Brittany, so much for asking this question. Stay tuned because that is what today's video is all about. Today we are talking about aesthetically pleasing Instagram feeds. We're talking about mood boards and color palettes. But before we do that, I want to remind you of one thing. Instagram is more than just pretty pictures. Yes, of course, we want to put out the quality content that looks good. But if the content is great and it looks nice, but it doesn't provide any value to your target audience, you will lose them. The whole purpose of social media is to help you build relationships with your potential clients if you are using Instagram for business. If it's something personal, then by all means, a selfie will do. But the content that you put out for your business should provide value to your target audience. The very first thing I want you to think about is value. And then the second thing I want you to think about is how you can turn that value into a beautiful piece of content that fits with your Instagram aesthetic. Before we go into creating any content, we need to do a little bit of research first. And I find that most people skip this step, which is why they find themselves in a vicious cycle of creating content, not liking how their feed looks, not getting any leads, to creating content, and then it just goes around in circles. The reason for this is because you need to know who your target audience is. You need to know what colors attract them, what images are they looking at, what are they sharing, what are they saving, what pieces of content is your target audience looking for. From there, you can go ahead and start creating your own content and making sure it matches your overall style. But without that foundational research and that foundational knowledge of your target customer, you are setting yourself off on the wrong foot. When it comes to doing research, I want you to look at two main things. Look at your competitors to see what they are posting, what content they have that's working really well, and maybe some content that's not working so well. And then I want you to jot down some ideas that you have on how you can create the same or similar content to them, but better and more value add. The second thing I want you to do is look at your target customers and see what pieces of content they are either sharing in their stories, what stuff they are liking. Maybe it's some comments that they've left on some other people's content. Do a deep dive into your competitors and your potential customers to see what pieces of content are resonating the most with your audience so that they feel attracted to your content and they sense that they are going to get a lot of value from you. The next thing I want you to do is look at some of your favorite influencers that follow a similar style to what you're looking to create and take some photos from their grid. This is not to be used in your grid. Do not use other people's photos. It's copyright issues, no plagiarizing. You're just gonna take those photos and use them as inspiration for your mood board. Then I want you to go to something like Pinterest where you can pull quotes and images of things that you would also likely share in your feed. Maybe a little bit more graphic style posts, photo style posts. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all of those pieces of inspiration that you have, put them into a mood board format. From here, you are going to draw colors, and then that will end up being your color palette from which you will create your content moving forward. The next thing I'm going to do is show you how to use a tool called Canva to create a very simple mood board that you can use to model the rest of your content after. So I'm going to show you that here. Okay, so I have decided that I'm going to create an Instagram account, hypothetically, for a spa. So what I've done is I've gone to Pinterest and I've looked up some spa images. And from here, I am going to pull some images that I think would really resonate with the feed that I'm trying to create. So just hang tight while I build this out. I would say look for between 5 to 7 images. I know for a spa-like vibe, we want to go with very calm and cool tones. So I have a couple ideas here that I am working with. I'm going for very green and blue tones. I just think that that seems the most fitting. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up some quotes. Some quote graphics are great because they give you a sense of style for text and of course the overall color. I know for sure that I want something very thin and dainty. I'm going for a very elegant vibe, so I wouldn't have any fonts that are a little bit too bold. I like something like this. Technically, these quotes aren't really relevant to spa, but they'll give me an idea of what the feed will look like overall once I put my content and my quotes into those graphics that I create. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Canva. I'm going to create a design and I'm going to go to Instagram post. And then in the template section, I'm actually going to search up mood board. And then it gives you a wide variety to choose from, which is really nice. So I'm going to just choose this very basic one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload all of the photos that I just grabbed from Pinterest. I'm going to upload them into Canva. I'm going to drag and drop them into the image provided. This one actually kind of fits, which is nice. Maybe I'll drag this one. This is an actual client photo, but for the most part, I like how that looks. And then what you're going to do is you are going to go to the elements section. You can start pulling some circles. So I'm going to drag this down, make it a little bit smaller, drag it right here in the middle. And then I'm going to Control C, Control V, and make some copies of it. Typically in your feed, you want to have between 4 and 5 different colors that you are going to choose from. So typically there will be 3 main colors. And then you will also have 2 secondary colors. This is more for like standard branding practices, but for your feed, it works as well. Then you're going to click on one of the circles, and in the top left, you're going to hit the color palette. And when you scroll down, it says photo colors. Click see all. And what you're going to do is you're going to build your color palette from the photos that you have chosen. So I usually go dark to light. And the dark colors, that's just because that's my style and I like things a little bit darker, but you can do it however you feel it fits. But I'm just gonna pick some colors here that I think would really suit the feed I'm going for. And then I'm also going to add some accent colors. So I really like these greens to complement the purples. So this would be my general look for my feed. And then I'm also gonna play around with the text a little bit. I personally like the text that's on this graphic, but just to show you, in the drop down for the fonts, you can swipe through and find something that really fits what you're looking for. So like I said, I was looking for something a little bit more dainty, more feminine, very elegant. So I would be scrolling through and trying to find fonts that I felt really fit. Typically when you do your branding, you choose a serif and a sans serif font. So a serif font is one that has the little wispies on the end of letters, whereas sans serif is more like a Bebas Nu, where there's no wispies. It doesn't look as elegant. It's not like a beautiful font, but they complement each other really well. So for example, I've seen Playfair Display used as a feminine font. So you can see if I zoom in here, it has the little wispies at the end compared to the one I was just, like even Arimo, it doesn't have those wispies at the end. So try to find two that kind of pair together and it'll be a perfect fit for you. Now that we have our mood board, we're gonna go ahead and create graphics from this mood board. Hang tight. So now that you've pulled together a mood board based off of photos and images and graphics that your audience really resonates with and that you personally also like, you are going to take the color codes for those colors that you had in your mood board and you are going to make your own color palette. Use that color palette to create graphics. The nice thing about having photos in your mood board is that it gives you an idea of what style photo editing you should be doing on the photos that you create. So for example, in my spa mood board, there was a lot of light and airy photos. So typically I would need a lot of natural light, whether that be in front of a window like I am right now, or using studio lights for product images. You need to really think about what you would need to do to recreate those images in your own style. Then you can use something like Visco or Lightroom to edit your photos to make sure that they match your overall feed style. It doesn't stop there either, because your Instagram feed is just one component of your overall digital presence. On Instagram alone, you should also be thinking about your story graphics and making sure that those are on brand. Your story highlight covers should be on brand. And of course, any photos or videos that you take, whether that be on a live, a reel, or in your Instagram story, should all follow the very similar brand aesthetic, the brand color palette you're choosing. You want to make sure that everything looks very cohesive. And then it doesn't just stop at Instagram either. We're talking about Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok. If you have Medium, your website, everything should look very cohesive and go hand in hand. That is why it's so important to spend time during this very beginning phase when you're doing research on what your customers are looking for, how you can kind of level up on your competitors, and then making sure that you are building a brand that is going to resonate with your target audience. If you are someone that gears your content towards moms, what do moms want to see? Do moms want to see a perfectly curated Instagram photo? Probably not, because they're busy. They're taking care of their children. They are potentially working, they're cleaning, they're doing a ton of different things. So creating and seeing something that looks perfect, maybe it might not resonate with them. Maybe they want something that's a little more fun, goofy, abnormal, something that's not perfectly curated and more represents what their life looks like day to day. Think about if you are someone that is gearing your content towards corporations and you're trying to go for a very corporate look. That is going to look very, very different than someone who is targeting moms, someone who is targeting fitness professionals. Sky is the limit when it comes to creating content, but you need to be very strategic when it comes time to create that content that you're hoping will resonate with your target audience. Once you have created your content and you are ready to start playing around with it in your feed, I highly recommend that you pick some type of feed style that you are going to organize your content into. So for example, you could do a crossfade style Instagram feed. You could do a vertical fade. You could do a 4 to 5 pillars where you cycle through your 5 pillars of content in your feed very chronologically. If you are unfamiliar with the 5 pillars of content concept, make sure you head back and check out some of my other videos. My content planning and content creation videos both talk about this a ton. Definitely something that you should be focused on and something that will help you tremendously when it comes time to create content. You could do a checkerboard style, a gradient style, it could be a side shuffle style. There are so many different ways that you can lay out your content to make it stand out from your competitors. So just make sure that you are being strategic in that regard as well. And that is a wrap on this week's YouTube video. Thank you again for checking it out. If you are someone who is looking for tips and tricks on how to grow your small business online, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you never miss a video. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. Every single week, I will be choosing one question to answer for that video, and that person will also receive a Starbucks gift card because I love Starbucks and it is always a nice little pick-me-up on my day. I'm hoping that will be the same for you. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday.